Sorry, are you okay? Oh no, this is just how my species talks. It sounds like you think I look funny. I mean, you sorta do. Well, look who's talking. I mean, what even are you? Human? Of course, that would do it. Ladies, gentlemen, and trainers of all ages, here as we stand again on the precipice of greatness. All these new Pokemon in front of us, so many creative and interesting designs, but which ones are, as far as actual proper functionality, worth using? Don't get me wrong, if you just want to have fun in the game, then just use whatever ones you think are cool, but which Pokemon are simply head and shoulders above the rest? Well, as you may have guessed, we have done a couple of these lists already, and we are now going into the final grouping of Pokemon that are just undeniably better than the rest of the new ones, so let's cap it all off with one more list of 10 extremely strong Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. As with usual, the rankings of these Pokemon from 10 to 1 are always a little bit situational. Pokemon is a game where having the right matchup depends on knowing what your opponent will do, and so the individual rankings are more just a notice of general usefulness and variability over the others, but everyone on this list is a very strong new Pokemon. Without further ado then, let's begin with number 10, Iron Moth. This Pokemon has a move called Fiery Dance, it's 80 power, and also has a chance of raising its special attack one stage, and its special attack is where it truly shines as a Pokemon in general. It can also learn Sludge Wave for a multi-target 95 power move with Poison Chance attached, which is quite strong. It can get Venoshock, as well as not only Substitute, which is great for PvP, but also U-Turn, allowing you to both deal damage and switch out your Pokemon on the same turn. On top of that, its typing is really neat, being Fire and Poison. If you put a Grass Tera type on it, then your only real weakness it is to Psychic moves, and as long as you react correctly to the Pokemon in front of you, that's not a big deal. On top of which, if you do use the Grass Tera, you can also learn Solar Beam, or even just use Tera Blast to have a strong Grass move as well, which is great because the main reason that you would activate your Grass Tera is to counter the Rock or Ground types that are trying to stuff out your regular weaknesses. Number 9.
Elephant, honey. It's an elephant.
Iron Treads. God, I love how this Pokemon looks, but it's not about looks right now, it's about pure raw power. This Pokemon has pretty good attack, but great defense with good HP and speed too. It learns Knock Off, so you can disable your opponent's items, Rapid Spin to remove multi-turn debuffs from yourself, and clear entry hazards from the ground as well, and then it also raises your speed on top of that. It learns Earthquake, which is just a really strong ground move, Stomping Tantrum, which can be good in the right situations, Iron Defense for a 2-stage defense boost, as well as Body Press to use your defense as a weapon, and on top of that, it can learn Electric Terrain to activate its own Quark Drive ability to raise its highest stat by 30%, and it can also learn a move called Steel Roller, which is a 130 power, 100 accuracy move that works as long as there is some sort of terrain on the ground, which makes that a really good combo for this kind of Pokemon. Number 8. Farigiraf. This new evolution is a strong screen setter, learning both Reflect and Light Screen. The Armor Tail ability that it can have is great for doubles battles, which makes it so priority moves just straight up fail against any allies on the field. It can learn Power Swap to swap attack buffs with your opponent, or Guard Swap to swap defense buffs with them. Agility for a 2-stage speed boost, Nasty Plot for a 2-stage special attack boost, Amnesia for a 2-stage special defense boost, and then of course to cap off that whole thing it has Baton Pass, which swaps you out with another one of your party members and gives them all of your buffs, which is a really interesting move that you can set up with all the rest of that. It learns Psychic, which is just a strong special attack. It can learn Trick Room to mess with the turn order, and for the most part, this thing can just absolutely mess with other Pokemon, and that is lovely to have around. Number 7.
I demand entry, you Claude!
Clodsire. This big old blob of a Pokemon is quite interesting. It has 2 great abilities depending on the situation. Water Absorb makes it heal whenever it's hit by a water type move, which heavily counters one of its weaknesses, or alternatively Poison Point makes other Pokemon get poisoned when they hit you with physical attacks. As well, it has a hidden ability, Unaware, which just makes it ignore the stat modifiers of its opponent entirely. It can learn Toxic Spikes for a good entry hazard, Yawn to put things to sleep, Toxic to apply bad poisoning, which is just poison that increases in damage every single turn, Earthquake, which is just a great ground move that I mentioned earlier, Gunk Shot, which is a really strong poison move with low accuracy. However, Clodsire has ridiculously low speed and is almost guaranteed to go second in turn order, so you could even use the Zoom Lens item for a 20% accuracy buff when your Pokemon goes second, turning Gunk Shot into an almost guaranteed hit. It can learn Substitute, which is great, Amnesia for a 2-stage special defense boost, it has high HP and special defense, and if you don't want to go with the Zoom Lens strat, you could go Trick Room on your other Pokemon and doubles to guarantee Clodsire goes first. Number 6. Oarthworm. This lovely happy lad is great, but for pretty much just one reason. He has a super high defense stat. He learns Iron Defense to raise defense by 2 stages in 1 turn, and then it can learn Body Press, which uses your defense stat instead of your attack stat to make him do loads of damage. On top of that, it can learn Earthquake, which, as I've said multiple times already, is just a really good ground move, and it also learns Shed Tail, a new move this generation which is actually quite strong. It makes a substitute using half of your Pokemon's health, and switches out for another party member who will use that substitute instead. All of that together just makes it a strong, one-track minded Pokemon. Number 5.
Right? A ride on that?
Cyclizard. This is the other Pokemon that can learn Shed Tail, and it's just an incredibly good move if you can use it right. On top of that though, Cyclizard can learn Rapid Spin to clear entry hazards and give itself a speed boost, U-Turn to swap with any other Pokemon in your party while also doing a 70 power attack, and also Taunt to force your opponent to only use damaging moves for 3 turns. It's just a really good utility Pokemon. Number 4. Espathra. This one is pretty unique actually. It's a great screen setter knowing both Light Screen and Reflect, but past that it is quite strong in its own right too. It has the ability Opportunist, which makes it match any stat buffs its opponent gets, or it has the hidden ability Speed Boost to just get a speed buff at the end of every turn. It has a signature move called Lumina Crash, which is 80 power and lowers your target's special defense by 2 stages every time you use it, which is insanely good. For reference, Psychic, which is considered a good move, is 90 power, which is only 10 higher, and it only has a chance of lowering special defense by 1 stage. It also learns Feather Dance, which can lower their attack by 2 stages, Agility, which raises its own speed by 2 stages, it can learn U-Turn, which I already talked about being great, as well as Trick Room if you want to flip the turn order on its head. Number 3.
Hello, Ghost Pepper Storm?
Skeledirge. Mostly this relies on its signature move Torch Song, which is 80 power and guaranteed boost your special attack by 1 stage. For reference, Flamethrower is considered a very good fire move, and it is a 90 power move without boosting your special attack. This Pokemon also learns Shadow Ball, which is 80 power with a chance to lower your target's special defense, Will-O-Wisp for a guaranteed burn for both end of turn damage and to half your target's physical attack, Hex for 130 power on targets affected by status, including burn, which again you can force. Fire Blast or even Overheat in combo with Torch Song to make up for the lost special attack is great too. Number 2. Ceruledge. Its Flash Fire ability makes it great for switching in unexpected using U-Turn or Shed Tail. This makes it absorb any fire ability that it is hit with and instead buff itself to make its own fire moves do 1.5 times damage, which is fantastic. It learns Shadow Claw, which is a 70 power move with enhanced crit chance, Will-O-Wisp for that guaranteed burn status, and it has the signature move Bitter Blade, which is a 90 power move that heals for half of the damage it does. It can also learn Hex, which again in combo with Will-O-Wisp is great. It can learn Swords Dance for a 2-stage attack buff, Taunt, Substitute if you want it, Phantom Force, which lets it disappear for a turn, and it has pretty good attack and defensive stats too. Number 1.
Poison. Poison. Poison.
Glimmora. And here we come to our final entry, a Pokemon used by the top champion herself, so you know it must be good, right? It can learn Toxic Spikes to set up an entry hazard, but it also gets Toxic Debris as its ability by default, which makes it so anytime it is physically hit by an attack, it does drop 1 stack of Toxic Spikes by default. At stage 2, this will badly poison any Pokemon who swaps in. It can also learn Spikes and Stealth Rocks to just really let you stack entry hazards like crazy, which is mostly just what people use this Pokemon for right now. But even outside of that, you have a hidden ability if you want to use that instead that lets you poison, steel, and poison types. A 2-stage defense boost in Acid Armor is an attack that it can learn, Sludge Wave for an AoE high power attack with a chance of proccing poison, Sandstorm while also being a rock type itself to give it a special defense boost, Acid Spray which is 40 power while also harshly lowering your target's special defense, Venoshock which is just a great move that has double power if the target is poisoned up to 130 power, and then it even has a great special attack and decent bulk. It can do a ton of things, but mostly this thing just becomes used as the first Pokemon sent out and just stacking entry hazards and Sandstorm to mess up your opponent's team for the length of the entire battle. And that does it for today, everyone. Another 10 extremely strong new Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I hope you've enjoyed going through this list, and I hope this helps you settle on your team of 6 Pokemon, even if it is constantly changing and evolving. In some cases, literally. Let me know if you think there are other Pokemon that deserve to be on a list like this, highlighted for just how broken strong they are. Like if you liked the video, subscribe with the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.